Hey gang, welcome back to the Music Majors Club Unpacked. My name is Jesse, and today we're listening to the brand new album by Benson Boone, American Heart. If you're new here, this is a music channel based on all things music, live reaction videos, piano lesson videos. We've got a ton in store and more to come. So be sure to like and subscribe. You too can become a music major. Join our community. On set today, we have kind of a new look going on. We've got some new pieces over here, some furniture additions. The girlfriend moved in, so we got some cool stuff here. We also have our classic Beethoven. You know him, you love him. I don't really have any Benson Boone merch per se or anything. I'm not really like a big Benson Easta. I don't really know what they call the Benson Boone fans these days. I am pretty familiar with some of his songs, though. I know his big ones, and I actually listened to his Essentials playlist, and I actually liked a lot of Benson Boone's music. But it really seems like everybody hates Benson Boone these days, right? Why does everybody hate Benson Boone? Am I missing something? I get it. He might be a little bit annoying, or he might be a little bit overplayed. I think that's kind of what happens with artists, though. They become so big that people just kind of get sick of them. They're everywhere and they're like too much. Oh, and I know he has all the gimmicks, like the backflip thing is really overdone. I know, I'll give you that one. And the mustache. Okay, I guess I have a few things that I can see why people might be a little bit annoyed or oversaturated with him. I do know that Benson Boone auditioned for American Idol. I don't watch the episode or anything, but I did see in some of my research that he auditioned for American Idol because he has a really good voice. He's actually a really, really talented singer, I think. He may not write his own music. His whole vibe and persona, he might be copying Freddie Mercury a little bit or Harry Styles or whatever. I think people are mostly saying he's kind of like inauthentic, like it might just be kind of a gimmick, but whatever. A job is a job at the end of the day. A lot of these artists kind of put on a persona, and sometimes it sells and sometimes it doesn't. On this channel, we're here for the music, though. We're here to listen to the album. We're here to experience and talk about what are some of the things that are working and some of the things that maybe aren't working, but we're really here to listen to the music itself. If nothing else, Benson Boone really has hit the ground running with his career. He had one of the biggest songs last year, Beautiful Things. Are you kidding? You couldn't go anywhere without hearing that song. It was all over TikTok, social media. Nights Like These, that was a huge song too. Pretty Slowly, I think I know that one, maybe. Slow It Down, that one was huge. Oh my gosh, Slow It Down. I hear that all the time still. Needless to say, I think he has a lot of really popular songs, and I think that's kind of what happens with artists, that they just become oversaturated and people just kind of get sick of them. I feel like that's kind of what happened with Sabrina Carpenter. I feel a real kind of similar correlation between these two artists, Sabrina Carpenter, Benson Boone. It's almost like as Sabrina Carpenter got bigger and bigger and huge on the scene with Taylor Swift and being on her tour and everything, people started kind of like hating her more because she was getting so big, and I kind of can see the same thing happening with Benson Boone. Personally, I really like his voice. I think he has, like I said, I think he has a phenomenal voice. He has this really like direct way of speaking and singing. He does scream a lot. I will say that. He's like very loud. He is right up on the mic and he is shouting. My guy is yelling. So now most of the critics are reviewing this new album, American Heart, super low. It got like a 2.5 out of 10. Another critic commented that he wrote the album in just a few days and says that it sounds like it. So it seems like a lot of the critics are giving Benson Boone a really hard time. Yeah, Pitchfork's review is a 3.7 out of 10, which is pretty rough. What's crazy, though, is that a lot of the listeners seem to be enjoying the song. Like, there's a lot of haters and people saying the album is terrible, but there are a lot of people clearly listening to it because it's supposed to have a really high debut. Now, here's the other thing. All in all this comes down to is sales, right? An artist is trying to sell their album. They want to sell their music. And sometimes things work, sometimes things don't. But all in all, whether the reviews say good or bad, if it charts, it charts. And even if you have a charting album with a couple lead singles that perform really well, that still matters. Now, of course, there's highs and lows between that too. And I think at the end of the day, it's important what the fans say and important what the critics say. That helps for future growth and stability. But it sounds like this album is going to chart really well. So with that being said, let's get into the album American Heart by Benson Boone. This is clocking in at only 30 minutes. It's 10 songs. I think there's 2 music videos. 30 minutes is crazy. We just did a reaction to Mayhem by Lady Gaga, and that was an hour and 16 minutes, I think. It was only a couple songs longer. So interesting. I hate to say it though, songs are getting shorter and shorter in these days. With the world of the internet, the world of TikTok, I know I'm dating myself, but it's like all these songs are just now designed to be so small and go viral and trend, and then that's it. They have like no other sustenance to it. So we'll see. All right, let's get into the album, y'all. Starting with I'm Sorry I'm Here for Someone Else. There is a music video for this, but it's just a lyric video, which is kind of lame. but we'll watch it anyways. I do know this one because it is a lead single from the album, so I did hear this when it released, but I haven't seen the lyric video yet, so I guess it's still kind of new. Also, I don't pause too often. I'm so sorry. It's just easier for the sonic experience to listen to the song all together, so if you want to pause, you can as you listen, but for the most part, I do give my thoughts almost in the moment immediately.
I'm sorry I'm here for someone else, but it's good to see your face.
Okay, it looks like a bit of a behind the scenes photo shoot situation. Pretty cool 80s vibe, you know, that drum beat, that offbeat. Ooh, I don't know if I heard that vocoder as much. It's kind of a cool layering harmony. It's kind of a weird concept, right? Like talking to your ex at the bar, waiting for the next person. I kind of like that Benny don't do it thing. Ooh, okay, now we're in the back of the club almost, right? It comes back and builds. Okay, that was like a cool pan. We're really jamming at the end here. So, I think kind of a safe lead single, you know? This sounds a lot like some of his previous work. It has that classic, like, Benson Boone feel to it in a way, I suppose. I don't think anything was really unique in that track, to be honest. I like it. I've heard it. I definitely tried to, like, save, knowing that I might do a reaction video to this album. I tried to save it. Again, like, I think it was kind of just like a safe lead single. There wasn't anything like super exciting in that song, but what a hot take, seeing your ex at the bar as you're going to meet somebody new. And then at the end, I'm pretty sure he said, "I'm still in love with you," right? That was the lyric. "I'm still in love with you." Yeah, I'm still in love with you. I'm going out of my mind. You were always the one I should have waited for. I can't lose you again. What? Okay, so is that kind of like, I don't want to say it, but boy mentality here, right? Like, we're gonna censor that, of course, but like, is that the mentality? Is that the thing? Is that the reason why people aren't really vibing with Benson Boone? Is he kind of like that? I don't know. All right, on to track 2. We have an actual music video for this song, and this is another one that I haven't really heard too much. Like, I definitely started listening to it, and then I was like, oh wait, I want to do a reaction video for this. So I haven't seen the music video. I haven't really listened to the song altogether, but track 2 is Mr. Electric Blue. This is way longer than the track itself, so I think there's probably some extra things in the music video. So let's go ahead. This is Mr. Electric Blue.
Cartwheels. I love it. Benson.
Okay, yeah, so we're starting off with some kind of scene here.
Little thing, come here. Everything's terrible, Benson. We put all of our money into
Industry Plant Records.
He was a stranger.
Now we're in it, baby.
He walked in looking for danger.
Okay,
When he stares at you, he can
this is a fun. I like this.
make you fall. Ooh, Mr.
Okay, chorus.
Electric Blue.
Yeah.
I wanna dance like you.
Okay, this is supposed to be about his dad, right? I learned that recently.
Or some supernatural place.
This is such an odd spot. This is like an outro. Is the song already over?
And here is your moonbeam ice cream, miss.
Hey, you're that guy who sings beautiful things.
Okay, what the heck is going
I
on?
sure am.
That was like an outro sound.
Music is terrible.
Ugh.
He's a man's man.
Dead. Okay, yeah, verse 2. Kind of an interesting placement, though. See that? Hey! Like, his voice is pretty strong. I mean, it's a pretty rockin' song. Yeah, this is a fun chorus. What can I say? You got it. Hey, I love that sound. This is very Freddie Mercury, like Queen.
I believe in you.
Ooh, it was kind of a little fun additive to the end. Okay, so there you go, Mr. Electric Blue. Okay, I really like that song. That was a fun one. I've heard snippets of it. It was online as well, but I wanted to really leave the full reaction to it for this video now. That was a fun song. I think that was a lot better of a choice as a lead single or as a second single following up to Sorry I'm Here for Someone Else. I like that a lot more. Actually, I guess it's the third single because Mystical Magical, I think, was the very first one. But anyways, yeah, that was a really fun song. That had a lot more character to it. I liked a lot of the vocals themselves, the delivery. I liked a lot of the vibe. And like I said, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be about his dad. My cousin Melanie said that he wrote it about his dad, and he, like, you know, I can see that as like an admiration to like him being Mr. Electric Blue, the dad, you know, and him admiring him. I think that's a kind of a nice little touch. The music video, of course, has a really interesting commentary on a lot of things, right? The music industry itself, artists and how they are successful, how they aren't successful. What's funny is I started seeing Benson Boone starting to get some hate, and like, I don't think he's canceled, but starting to get that like cancel culture reputation while things were happening during the promos of some of his singles. And he didn't really say anything. He didn't really like address the hate. He didn't really acknowledge what people were saying. And this was the first time that I saw, at least right now, watching this music video, him addressing everything. You know, I hate Benson Boone, the backflips being a gimmick, the industry plant records or whatever. A lot of that is kind of him addressing some of the negative criticism and the feedback that he's been getting. And I think it's kind of funny to do it in a satirical, you know, comedic way while also still like promoting your next single. You know, it's kind of a only a win for him in a way, as long as people still like him and as long as he's still like a good person, right? Like, isn't that kind of the bare minimum? But anyways, I really enjoyed that song. I'd be excited to listen to it again and kind of dive more into it and digest the track a little bit more. But I think Mr. Electric Blue itself had a lot of his strong assets to it. Like, his voice sounded good. The vibe was right. The musicality was really cool. The tones were fun. I think that's probably like, that could probably be a big song for him. All right, let's check out track 3. This is Man and Me. I don't know anything about this one, but I will tell you, I can see this is the longest song on the album. Holy macaroni. It's only 3 minutes and 49 seconds, but this is the longest song on the album. So, yeah, let's get into it. Here's Man and Me. Okay, fun little snare here. Ooh, some vibes. Little vibe. Okay. What decade is he going for? You know, is he 70s? Is he 80s? Is he 90s and today? Okay, so a lot more higher register here. He really does have a broad vocal range, which is pretty great. Oh, I thought that would have been a bigger drop, but it was not. There we go. Blood on these ivory keys. Dang. You killed the only part of me I ever liked. That's crazy. Sad. There's that back of the club sound again. Cranking the filter. Okay. We're speaking pretty quick here. Okay, we got it that time. We're back. It's one of those like juxtaposition songs where sad lyrics on a heavy high beat, you know? And now he's riffing. Whoa, vibrato. Ooh, interesting. I love the fact that they included just piano at the end here for that lyric, Blood on These Ivory Keys. Okay, well, that was a really interesting juxtaposition, like I said, of these really upbeat and, you know, fast BPM, heavy chorus with a really sad undertone of lyrics. Kind of a classic thing to do. That was a little bit darker than I was expecting it to be, at least lyrically. I think I still like Mr. Electric Blue more than that, but it did have a similar, like, upbeat, fun-ish tempo. And then that section, and I wouldn't really even call it a bridge. It was like a post-bridge, right before the final chorus there. I mean, I will say he was riffing. Like, he was singing, but it was kind of an empty section. There wasn't really much he was adding there. He was just kind of saying like, where is the man in me? Where is the man in me? You took the man in me. Where's that man? You know, kind of that repetition of the same thing over and over. And although he sounded really good, I think if his vocals weren't as strong in that section, I would be a little bit more critical and be like, okay, what are we really doing in this part, you know? So maybe that could have been filled out a little bit more, but yeah, still a pretty heavy message delivered, I think. Okay, on to track 4. This is Mystical Magical. Of course, we know this one already because this is the second single from the album, but we'll still give it a listen. I'm really surprised that Sorry I'm Here for Someone Else was the first single, and in theory, I'm just verifying here, Mr. Electric Blue was not a single yet. It had a music video, so maybe it's going to be one of the next singles, but it also says that Momma Song is the third single. So the fact that Mr. Electric Blue hasn't even been a single yet is kind of wild to me. You would have thought that would have been the single released when the album released. But anyways, Mystical Magical, we know it mostly. We'll give it a listen and give our thoughts. Here we go. This is Mystical Magical. Ooh, those little bells. I haven't heard one of those in forever.
There's nothing colder than your shoulder when you're dragging me along.
Ooh,
like you
funky
do,
bass line. That bass is like
you do.
funky. I never really heard that
And then
before.
just once you know what my love's gonna feel
So
like,
Queen.
nothing else will feel right. You can feel like
That piano choppy, you know, the staccato. There's the Moonbeam Ice Cream. You know what's crazy? I always think it's gonna be like physical, you know? And if it's just that AL at the end or the actual song. They love doing that filter, and I always say it's back of the club where you like take all the sound away. Oh, that was very sound out, right? Yeah, like what is Moonbeam Ice Cream, you know? But it's kind of a weird statement, I think. Your love is a mystical, magical love. Ooh, we're floating off into space somewhere here. These stacked harmonies. Ooh, okay. And a little ending in major. Nice. Okay, yeah. Obviously, that chorus is just so heavily inspired by Queen and Bohemian Rhapsody. All I can hear with that is the Bohemian Rhapsody styling of like these stacked harmonies, the staccato piano and support. I really do wonder if he's a really big Freddie Mercury fan or not, because that seems to be like his entire MO, you know? That's like all he's doing is Freddie Mercury, like stylings. And I think that's a fine song. It was not my favorite when it released. I was like, okay, it's fine. Like I definitely like Mr. Electric Blue more than that. And I might even like Sorry I'm Here for Someone Else, even though that was kind of basic. But Mystical Magical, it just seems a little bit like, I don't know. I don't want to say lackluster, but it's kind of like, it just kind of feels like we've heard it before. And that's not to say that it's bad. It's just kind of repetitive. And I will say overall, I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to take a positive approach to listening to this album. I'm not trying to listen to it under the filter of like all the haters and the negative reviews. I am trying to give my own reaction and response. But that one does kind of seem a little bit like, okay, we've heard it. We've done it. What else is there? You know? Also, what is Moonbeam Ice Cream? What is that? Is that something that I should know about? Well, really would have been a successful promo here, and I'm sure someone will correct me. Actually, I'll just look it up. But if he actually served or sold Moonbeam Ice Cream at like a pop-up, like if they had that at a marketplace out in California somewhere in New York and like limited edition spaces, that would have been huge. Okay, Benson Boone's Moonbeam Ice Cream refers to a limited edition cookie collaboration with Crumble Cookies. Okay, fair. So he did do something inspired by his song Mystical Magical. The cookie, available June 23rd to 28th, is a chilled chocolate cookie. Ooh, okay. Maybe I should go try this. Maybe I should have had this prepared for today. Whoops. Cookie and cream pieces, lemon, berry, and marshmallow frosting. Okay, actually not as interested anymore. I'm a chocoholic, let's just say. I love all things chocolate. So they had me with chocolate cookie and cream, but I'm not quite sure about the toppings and white icing drizzle. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. But I mean, hey, maybe I'll try it. Why not? Okay, so at least he had some form of product to sell there because, come on, Moonbeam Ice Cream. That is a very creative name. I don't really know what it is or what it's supposed to be, a moonbeam. But at least he sold something. It wasn't quite ice cream, but at least he sold something. All right, let's get into track 5. This is Reminds Me of You. Here we go. Mystical, magical. Classic drum beat, the most classic drum beat of all time. Okay, so we have a slower track here, maybe, or a more laid back track, I should say. It's not super slow.
What do I do? What do I do? When every damn thing
There he goes.
reminds me of you.
Whoa. Okay, so a loud, harsh scream into a soft scream. And yo, he's up there. His vocal right now is like,
Damn thing reminds me of
that's like the classic Benson power yell. I think he does well.
tired eyes and drinking coffee.
Okay.
See you everywhere, the windows.
We're listing things off.
Settled in on the windows. Cars, trains, t-shirts, stains.
More lists.
Even places I ain't ever been. 'Cause every damn thing reminds me of you.
Whoa, my God, he's up there. He's like past the keys.
Stop.
Stop. That was kind of cool. All right, a little instrumental here. I see another list coming on. I'm not the lists.
Red scarf, peaches, you. It reminds
Soft place to land here at the end with the piano.
every
Very
little
delicate.
thing reminds me of you. It reminds me of you.
Okay, so it still ends happy and ends in a major chord. Okay. The lists, not a fan. That was like, I get it. He's listing off things that remind him of them, but like kind of a cop out in a way of lyrics and you're not quite sure what else to write is the vibe that I got. Maybe if he did it once, let alone if he did it twice. I think he did it 3 times, just listing off things. That's what I would say. Like, again, not to tie it all back to the reviews, but to tie it back to the reviews, I'm sorry. If they're saying he wrote this album in a limited amount of time, it says Benson Boone reportedly wrote and edited his album in 17 days. Okay, so 17 days. Wow. My piano albums that I've done have taken months to record and edit, but that's fine. That's kind of one of the things I would say is like if there's a list like that, that's something that I would say like 17 days. Okay, that seems like a quickly written verse, a quickly written, just list some things off, right? You get it. So not really a huge fan of that, but otherwise it was a fun song, super relatable. Anybody who's ever been with anybody and broken up with somebody, those immediate things afterwards start to remind you of them. And like, it can be hard to process and hard to kind of get over everything. I actually really liked the lyric, even places I ain't ever been. No, I ain't never been, because every damn thing reminds me of you. I think that's a really interesting topic. Like maybe you had made plans to travel to another country or, just go someplace for a vacation. And now you're like, oh my gosh, I can't go there because I had plans with them to do it, It's kind of an interesting take. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely another showcase of his vocals. He was really wailing at the beginning there. And then to go from that really harsh, like intense yelling into the mic in a way to backing off, that was kind of a really cool way of seeing him play with his voice and, give you something that we're going to expect and then back off a little bit. I thought that was pretty cool. All right, let's get into track 6. This is Momma Song. And this is the 3rd single, allegedly, from the album. I haven't seen that this was released as a single, but let's give it a whirl. Here's Momma Song. Okay, some really deep emotion I feel is coming upon us.
Does that mean you're getting older?
Isn't Benson Boone like 22? Getting old? It's crazy.
I miss you. I'm so proud of all you.
Interesting flip perspective there. Ooh, a harp? That was cool.
Tell me your memories of when you were young and where you fell in love.
Wow, okay. I got goosebumps for that.
Country, all that I've got,
Dang. Okay, I didn't expect this to get so emotional, Benson. My gosh.
all that I've got,
When your mom is gone is crazy.
all that I've got.
Sheesh.
Lately it's getting hard.
Wow, okay, that was way more emotional.
I'm a man because of you.
Wow. Which is an ironic lyric. The other one, what happened in The Man in Me, I'm a man because of you, my mom. It's kind of a nice homage. All that you have left are the pictures of someone like your parents or someone who's left. That's sad. Okay, kind of seems like those vocals just came in out of nowhere, but very beautiful kind of gospel-esque inspiration here at the ending. Aw, okay. I guess I gotta go call my mom. Yeah, wow, I was not expecting that to be so emotional. Dang, like Momma Song. And if nothing else, I like that he's really paying tribute to his parents. He keeps like that's the second song about another parent, and that's I mean, what a nice little sentiment. You know, he's still young. Like I said, I think he's only like 22. Yeah, he's 23 years old, so he's still young. And it's funny saying like, "I'm getting older. Are you getting older too?" It's crazy to think that you're getting old, you know. But yeah, that was a really beautiful kind of tribute, like I said, to her. I liked the slow rock. I liked kind of the really minimal feel to it. I think that was some of the stronger lyrics so far on this album. That was like very well written compared to some of what we've seen thus far. So I think that was really nice. I'm sure his, of course, mother and family appreciated that. I did have a little callback there too when I said that Chappell Roan talked about a similar experience when she lived in California. Some of those lyrics at the beginning of the song seem to tie into her same thing, like California's cold, California's tough, California, I'm sick of being in California. That was just like instantly triggered me because I recently had listened to that album by Chappell Roan, so that was kind of a cool tie-in in a way, and honestly reassuring to see a similar experience maybe from somebody else. Okay, let's get into track 7. We're gonna listen to "I Wanna Be the One You Call." This is 3 minutes, and yeah, let's take a listen. So another similar start with that like retro vibe and like these upward sounds. Whoa. Okay, some radio static. Ooh, dropping to nothing. Okay. High BPM here. Okay, that heavy filter. Ooh, a little monochromatic there. Ooh, okay, backup vocals. Come through. Wow, this really dropped out and got slow. Okay. All right, that's kind of like an emptier chorus than I would have expected based on this quick speed, but interesting. There's that static again. If you have a phone, it's crazy. Yeah, this chorus is really... It's a nice lyric, but it's very empty. Okay, fun. He sounds great. Okay. Oh, okay, modulating up. We've gone up a key. This is a much better chorus. But that's super high. Wow. Ooh, okay, and then just like nothing at the end. Okay, wow. Yeah, that chorus was a little, I would say, lackluster. Like it was just kind of empty. I really liked the verse was leading up and building up to something, and then I feel like they just kind of dropped it all out. Maybe that's kind of intentional to show, a much more intense verse than a chorus. But it definitely seemed like they dropped out the chorus and they were like, there's nothing really here, But the last chorus, when they did that modulation up a key and they kept a lot more instrumentation in that last chorus, I thought that was much better than some of the first ones. The lyric is crazy, very steamy. I want to be the name you scream. Woo! But yeah, I mean, that was a fun one. I don't know, maybe more of a filler song, one kind of in between. But I liked a high BPM. I liked the energy, and I think his voice sounded great. Okay, so let's take a listen to track 8. This is Wanted Man. Here we go. Let's take a listen. He really likes these like synth openers. Oh, okay. Speaking of Queen. Okay. This is a fun section here. I like this. This is like rocking. Oh. Okay. Build us up. Build us up. Okay. Never mind. He has a really interesting way of styling things. Big, small, full, empty. Kind of inconsistent, I feel. Here we go. Okay. So it led us into that, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about being like that full and that empty. Okay. Interesting shift here. That like kind of string situation down there. Ooh, okay. I like that. I like that delay. Yeah, I like this section right here. This is the most fun. Whoa! Whoa! Okay. There we go. That was much better delivered. Another little open section here. I was hoping he was going to do some more riffing and stuff, but... Okay. He was up there that time. Yeah. Pluck it out in the bass. Okay, a drop off. Kind of a last chorus drop off. Interesting. Okay. That had a lot of highs and lows, I would say. Parts that were maybe more full than others. I really liked that pre-chorus. I think that's the section that I really enjoyed the most. And yeah, I don't know. There's something about him having like these really full sections and then really empty sections. Again, I think it's supposed to show and highlight each other to make them sound fuller and emptier. But I just didn't necessarily know why we were doing them almost in every song in some ways, but I thought it was still good. Kind of, again, that classic take on the word wanted man, I'm dead or alive, you know? Yeah, I think I'd enjoy listening to that a couple more times and digesting it a bit more. That was a more fun song. It gave me more things that I wanted. Good vocals, upbeat tempo. I guess now I, too, am a wanted man. All right, let's take a listen to track 9. This is Take Me Home. Just over 3 minutes. This is 3 minutes and 1 second. Let's take a listen. Okay. Slow start. Very opposite from the last one, right? Slow and quiet.
I'm glad to see your eyes and change it all.
Another kind of swayer here, swaying.
A little green in the fall. Kiss me slowly.
It was really intense on the mic.
When we were young.
Oh, okay. Maybe an ex-lover or something. His voice really does sound beautiful.
How have you been? Did that fancy college art school let you in?
Knew it. Ex-lover of some kind, right? I'm kind of getting like a huge compliment here. Like the Adele vibe of that When We Were Young song, you know? Ooh, are we going to have a different shift here? We got an upright piano sound now. Are we going to totally flip the script and go loud, crazy, and fast? I think we are. He loves a tempo change and a vibe change. Wow. This just went really opened up. Wow. Another stacked vocal section. Kind of a sad concept. We're back down to nothing at all, right? Oh, Benson. Okay. Well, I'm home right now, so this is perfect. I don't need to get taken home. I'm already home. Okay. A lot of really consistent tempo changes and switches of vibe, I would call it, like that big to small. I feel like I've said that a couple times now throughout these songs, so that must just be like his thing. I have to go back through his discography and see. I can picture another song or two where he really switches things up like that. I mean, I think even Beautiful Things he does that. Yeah, Beautiful Things. It's like very, very teeny tiny and delicate at the beginning, and then it leads into this huge, you know, anthem in a way. So that must just be like where he's seen his biggest success, and maybe he just really likes doing that. But yeah, that was like a lot of that. But I liked that. I mean, that was cool. What I was saying in there too was like I kind of got the vibe of Adele's when we were young song. That concept of when we were young and take me back and things, and really reflective. And I kind of just got the vibe from the lyrics in this song as to what that could feel like, and things that are back in your day, things that have changed, especially when it comes to maybe a lover or an ex of some kind. I can kind of see that. So maybe he took inspiration from that. Who knows? All right, let's take a listen to the final track on the album. This is Young American Heart on the album American Heart. So let's listen to the final track. Okay. Instantly into this. Loving these keys.
And we were upside down and moving in slow motion. We're just floating.
Whoa.
So out and free.
This moving pattern with the Stranger Things is going on.
Sense to me. If I'm gonna die,
Oh yeah. Ooh, minor. Oh yeah. Okay, this is good. This is a good one. I love that part. It's very full and like a round sound. Okay, got some repetition here. But at least we're building to something, right? Ooh. Okay. Minor. I like that progression. Yeah. Nothing more America than a classic electric guitar solo, right? Whoa, and then all the way down to nothing. Dang. And that's how the album ends. American Heart. Okay, that was one of the better songs on the album. I don't know why that's the last song. I mean, at least it goes out on a really big bang. But yeah, I liked that a lot. That's going to be I really can't wait to get back into that song. Super fun, super high beat, high tempo, very classic sounding, which of course the album is called American Heart, so it's got to be representative of that. And of course, the album cover has him with the American flag, so it only tracks that's going to be like the most American, maybe based song itself. If nothing else, I really enjoyed that. I think that's one of the better ones. That should be his next single. If he doesn't release that as a single, I'd be kind of disappointed because that really could perform well. I think a lot of people would like that song. Okay, it's pouring outside. I had no idea while I was listening to the album, I couldn't even tell that it was raining so much. So hopefully you can't hear that much during the album. But anyway, so that's our first listen of American Heart by Benson Boone. What are some of your favorites? I'll tell you mine. I really did enjoy Mr. Electric Blue. I think that's probably my favorite song from the album. And then on the last one, Young American Heart, that was definitely a heavy contender. It's hard to quite find a third if I want to go fast, if I want to go slow. But if I were to say a slower song that is my third favorite, I would probably say Momma Song. I thought that was just a really beautiful song and well done, and made me very kind of like nostalgic when listening to it. So I think that would be a really good third choice. Overall, like I said, I tried to have a really open mind and keep a fresh perspective. I didn't try to let any of the negative critics really implement my opinion on the album. There were some definite highs and lows. I think one of his biggest things in this album is not only the songs are so short, and I get it, that's kind of like the thing these days, but having less than, 4-minute songs, like some of these were under 3 minutes. A 30-minute album is like so quick, so crazy. I guess if nothing else, you could leave the listeners wanting more. But I also think that some of these songs could have been longer. They could have had fuller parts and fuller sections, because even some of the sections were just some repetitive words in a way. So I do think timing was a bit of an issue on this album. I think it could have been longer. And I also don't love the tone change every single song. I have to go back and count to see, but at least like 2 or 3 songs were like a totally different sound from one section to another. And then sometimes it was like one section to another section to another section. Like it was changing back and forth a lot. I guess that's a kind of unique way of writing and presenting a song. But there were a lot of like tone and vibe shifts a lot that kind of wasn't really what I was vibing with, I suppose. But overall, I think it was a much better album than I expected it to be. I don't know. I'm an optimist. I like to enjoy things. I like to appreciate things for what they are. Is it a perfect album? No, but I can't really think of what a perfect album even is, you know? I think Benson Boone has a great voice. I think he needs to work on maybe some of his marketing and some of the tactics and strategies that the audience is over and sick of in a way. And like he said, you know, pivot. He even said that in one of his little, you know, TikToks, saying he could pivot into something else, because everybody, you know, people like a shtick in a way until they don't. So that's what every artist deals with. And as he's rising to fame and becoming more successful, he'll have to do that and unfortunately continue to change and rebrand and keep things fresh for his audience. But overall, I think he has a wonderful voice, and I definitely think if he's able to, you know, keep delivering with that wonderful voice, that will last him for years to come. But what are your thoughts? What are your favorite songs? What is some of your feedback and criticism based on some of the things that we've discussed today and from what some of the critics have said? I'd love to know in the comments. Let's get the discussion going. And if nothing else, let me know what album I should listen to next. We've got a lot more coming, and we have the piano lesson right along the way that I can't wait for you to check out. Be sure to like and subscribe, because you too can become a music major. We'll see you next time. Bye.